Thank you for joining us at ArkansasMatters.com. I'm Jonathan Athens. Joining us here for this Web Extra interview is Montell Williams. He is a former syndicated talk show host. He is here in Arkansas to promote medical marijuana. He suffers from MS. He's a veteran, and he uses medical marijuana. Montell, tell us a little bit about this.
Thanks so much. So, I'm here because you have an initiative on the ballot here for this in November. I think it's called Prop 5. And what people need to understand here in Arkansas is the fact that it's one of the bottom blocks for you to check when you go in the voting booth. So you're going to go in and excited to vote for the president, but make sure you look to the very bottom of your ballot because Prop 5 is down there. And what Prop 5 is an opportunity for Arkansans to demonstrate the compassion that this state has. And that is to recognize that a medication that has been recognized now worldwide as efficacious for various maladies be put in a position so that doctors in your state can prescribe it, and then a patient can have a safe and efficacious place to go and receive it.
Now, looking at both sides of the issue, opponents of medical marijuana say that, number one, marijuana is a gateway drug, and they also contend that Issue 5 and other initiatives like this are a backdoor attempt to legalize marijuana for recreational use. What would be your response to that?
That's a really insidious fabrication of what the truth is. And you can look at the 17 states that have medicinal marijuana laws. Only one of them has made ever attempt at legalizing. That's one of the states that came across in the last 5 years, which was Colorado. All the rest of them have maintained the status of medical programs. And the reason why is because, first off, I was told, and I always believed, that Arkansas was a state that believed in its own independent rights and its rights to make decisions for itself. Well, if it is one, then it's a state that also understands that it has an opportunity to allow doctors to have people who are suffering and in pain relieve some of that. Now, look, we have a war against drugs that this country has sorely lost for the last 50 years, continues to lose. Fight the war all you want. Take the patients off the battlefield. That's what we need to do. You can argue right, left, allow a doctor that you claim to be smart enough to put heroin in a person's body. Oh, and I'm sorry, for those of you out there that don't understand what I'm talking about, Oxycontin, which is the most abused drug in America today, is only one molecule off of heroin. It's made from the same poppy that we have been fighting over in Afghanistan. But we as Americans can suck down as much of that as we want and think that's okay. But if we think a doctor's smart enough to put that in a person's body, and that same doctor prescribes this as a medication, why do we not give him credit for being smart? That's where the ignorance of this whole conversation comes in at. Because every medical association in this country has come forward in the last 5 years supporting more research or either supporting the dissemination of cannabis as a medication. So that's what has to happen.
Now, with regard to medical marijuana, again, there are critics and opponents that are concerned that it could be abused. Are there specific limitations and restrictions on medical marijuana that you would support so that it's not used or abused?
I believe that your Prop 5 is written extremely well. You have all the things in place to punish people who abuse the system and to allow for safe access. I mean, I find it absolutely ridiculous that we're going to talk about, let's make sure that we can keep the abuse in place for marijuana, and not one person in this state checks your medicine cabinet and takes out the old medicine that's in there that right now the federal government is claiming is the most abused substance in America today. I mean, stop talking out of both sides of your face. Start talking the truth. The truth is, every religion ever designed by man has a tenet in it that we are judged by how we treat the least of us. The least of us are people who are suffering. We've seen what's happened to the medical community and the medicine in this country. People don't even have access to prescription medication. They have to cut pills in half. If there's a medication that can bring some relief, I say punish those that abuse. Take the patients off the battlefield.
Well, Mr. Williams, thank you for taking the time to speak with us. Definitely, this hotly contested issue is not going to come to an end until the end of the day on November 6th, and then we'll see what happens afterwards. Reporting here in Little Rock with Montell Williams, Jonathan Athens, KARK4 News. Thanks.